What if the Treaty of Versailles between Germany and the Allies of World War I, signed June 28, 1919, was different? What if they included equal pay or equal land trade? What if they did not treat Germany harshly with reparations or other penalties towards the Germans for starting the war? What would happen if the treaty had happened differently? After World War I in 1918, the Allies met in Paris to discuss how to deal with the Central Powers. After the damage caused by the Great War to the people of Europe, they had to also discuss and agree what to do about Germany and the other Central Powers. All the leaders, mainly being Woodrow Wilson, Georges Clemenceau, and David Lloyd George from the Allies, had a very different way of negotiating and deal with Germany this time around. These men had seen what the Treaty of Versailles had done to the German economy and made it their very goal to completely destroy them this time, but to create unity and peace among the new Europe. To summarize, these leaders had good intentions and wanted to fix the problems for both sides rather than deter the enemy. The Germans didn't have to lose much territory, such as their country. This affected them because all the treaty did was make people recognize the principle of self-determination for all peoples. The borders that were redrawn were done by thinking of the ethnicity and culture of the area, and the redrawings were also designed to protect not just the rights of the majority but also of the minority populations living there, instead of imposing damage payments that would have made it impossible for Germany to reconstruct its economy. The treaty set more reasonable reparation payments, which depended on German capacity. The Allies also helped Germany financially by giving it loans or investing in Germany, because a prosper and a stable Germany is better for everyone. Germany, on the other hand, and not surprisingly, was required to demilitarize and limit its armed forces. However, the treaty also includes provisions for international security guarantees that would help to ensure the territorial integrity of Germany and also help to protect it from the possible aggression in the future. A system of collective security was established to help deter aggression and also settle future disputes by a peaceful mean. This system was very similar to the League of Nations, but with much stronger enforcement powers that would make it more possible for them to be able to enforce the settlement strategies and ideas. Rather than placing blame solely on Germany for the war, the treaty acknowledged that all the nations involved had to share responsibility. The treaty called for a spirit of reconciliation and cooperation between the countries who had been at war with one another. The emphasis of the treaty was on teaching the future generations and learning from the past mistakes, so that a more peaceful world could be built through learning from history. Germany's economy got somewhat better because the Allies lessened the fines that Germany had to pay. The treaty had earned Germany goodwill and will make the French more willing to cooperate as partners. Vehicle was accepted into the comedy. To live large costume at the end of a pariah standing diplomat, because Vehicle acknowledged the French did not the entire traditional channel and feel grievances Vehicle there were made to non-violent beach. Had the Treaty of Versailles had moderate terms, I think that World War II probably would not have happened. The terms of the Treaty of Versailles were hard on Germany, and they were sunk into what has been now called hyperinflation because of the terms of the treaty. This gave great resentment to the German people, who eventually elected ultra-conservative leaders who pushed them into World War II. Establishing effective international institutions during this time was crucial to the foundation of our modern-day world order. Nations from around the world needing to band together to solve common problems and promote mutual prosperity, which meant for a time setting aside any differences or tensions in the spirit of working towards a general goal of a peaceful and orderly world. If the Treaty of Versailles took a different approach, one that is more fit for the situation, this scenario would be taken from a more forgiving standpoint, and the main focus is on reconciliation, cooperation, and mutual prosperity, as opposed to punishment. This treaty based its penalizations more on the root causes of the war, and its main focus was on settling these issues so that one would not have to go to war joining these root causes again, rather than endless penalties. This treaty was much more successful. In fact, it brought some European countries closer to world peace and prosperity as a whole, which were its main focuses. Of course, the movement to European peace and prosperity wasn't laid out perfectly from the Treaty of Versailles, like it was from this more forgiving Treaty of Versailles. However, in the many years post-World War I, when conflicts did arise, and challenges would have to be solved, The people of Europe were reminded that the diplomatic way, which was neutral and uncompromising just like the earlier Treaty of Versailles, is what would bring countries closer with one another, and was what they would have to in order to evolve into one big, peaceful, and prosperous continent.